Alright, how's it going everybody? So this is it, it's the final part, and hopefully by the end of it we'll be looking at something a little like this. So, in order to follow along with today's video, at least, a little bit more accurately, you'll want to come over to Poliigon.com, and we're going to be grabbing another one of their free textures right here, Stone Marble Calacatta 004. You can download that and unzip it wherever. We're also going to be using the Poliigon Material Converter add-on for Blender. You can download that here. I'll be including links for both of these in the description. For the Material Converter, do not unzip it. Keep that sucker zipped up. You'll just come right back over here to Blender, go to Edit, down to Preferences, find the Add-ons tab. You'll hit Install, find wherever that zip folder is for the add-on, select it, hit Install add-on. You'll come back here, you can type in Mater in this search bar, it'll pull it up right there, hit this little checkbox, and then you can even click here and hit Save Preferences. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so this is how we're going to get started. You can delete these now if you'd like, these two extras that we had duplicated. I'm just going to hide mine. And I had accidentally started today before I hit record, so my bottom faces here are going to look a little different. But what you're going to want to do, and I'm going to go ahead and just go through the steps again, but I'm going to be selecting less faces than what you will likely be selecting. The bottom of your faces at this point should look like a mosaic mess, right? And so you're just going to select all of those faces, just don't select these faces, right? Even this, if you look, there's this tiny face. See my normal here is being displayed for it, and it kind of angles up. This little face here, don't select that, just the flat bottom faces. You'll just select all of those. I mean, you could, if you wanted, you could like grab those and then flatten them out. I just don't mind this little curvature here. I feel like it adds like a little like organic kind of character to the thing here, so I just leave it. I think it would even look better if it was on both sides. Darn it. Oh well though. So yeah, you'll just select all of those bottom faces and delete the faces. And before we move on from there, what we're also going to do is we're actually going to, in either edge select or vertices select, it doesn't matter, hold Alt. And if you put those edge loops, right, in the previous video when we made an edge loop here and we dragged it all the way down to the bottom, to improve the shading down here. If you had done that part, just go ahead and Alt left click that, and we're actually going to dissolve that for a moment. We'll add it right back in, no problem. We probably don't even have to do this right now. I just think this is it's going to be like better for visual aid. If you'd like, you can like hold off on doing it just to see if the next step that we'll do is even dependent on it, or if you're comfortable doing it without doing that. It's all up to you. I just prefer to get it out of my way. And so okay, so what we're gonna do now is, before we fill in those bottom faces, if we tab back into object mode and Alt H to unhide everything, if yours is like mine are what was once a nice flush flat bottom is no longer so. So mine, the center one is further extended down than the ones on the side. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to, make sure I'm only selecting our curved piece here. I'm going to go ahead and line that up with this top edge here. So line the bottom edge of my curved piece with the top edge of this pillar again. Just get that kind of lined up. Something like that should be fine. Hold on. Yeah, that was fine. And then we'll tab into edit mode here. Oh, sorry, we can actually hide these pillars for a moment. And now what we're going to do is we're going to look for the, in vertices select, we're going to look for like the first vertice, like coming in, or coming down from the curve here. Wherever it starts to flatten out, or straighten out, we're going to grab that first vertice where it transitions from the last of the curve and then going to a nice straight edge there. We're going to grab that one there. We're going to grab this one here. And we'll just hit F to fill that real quick. And then just continue to select all of the vertices all the way around here, holding shift. Grab all these. And then hit F to fill that in. And then we can hold Alt and left click here to select the rest of this edge loop all the way around there. And we'll hit F to fill that in. And then we're just going to do the same for these other ones. Grabbing this. Coming over here, we'll grab this one, hit F to fill that, and then just go around. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to get rid of that edge loop there, because it was so close on the sides here that it just made, you'd have to, like, I don't know, for me, I had to zoom in pretty far to comfortably not accidentally grab any of those other vertices. I just wanted them out of my damn way. I could do it without. I just was, you know, prefer things to be simple. It's far easier for me to just like add back in another loop cut than it is for me to have to like zoom way in and like mouse around to be all cautious about my selections. Alright, so we're gonna grab this one, come over here, grab that one, and go all the way around. Oops, I didn't do the first fill, but I don't know. This is a test run here. Perfect. Okay. I was always curious about that. I don't know why. I just instinctually always grab this vertex and then this vertex and then fill that in and then continue to go around. I had never known like whether or not for sure it was actually even necessary. I just always did it just off of instinct. So I guess you don't have to actually fill an edge between those two verts first. You can just select that vertex and then select all the way around over to the other flat vertex there, right? And then fill that, and then grab this other bit and fill that. However you want to do it, right? Okay. So now with that done, we'll with face select, we'll grab that those two bottom faces on that one, and we'll grab these two bottom faces here. Tab into edit mode real quick to Alt H on the hide. We'll hit 1 on the number pad for front orthographic. We'll tab, make sure we're only selecting the curve piece. Tab back into edit mode. We can go wireframe here, and we're going to go ahead and flush up this. You know, we can bring it down, and it's not going to, you know, affect anything. It's going to affect the edge that I really liked a little bit. That, that kind of curved in edge that I was talking about there. Oh darn, I'm gonna lose a little bit of that, but it's okay. We'll just bring this down on the Z, something like that. If you don't want to drag this down that far, you don't have to. You could probably very well just get away with bringing it down a little bit and then selecting all three of these like the bottom face on all three of these, and then do the whole scale on the Z, 0, enter, and it should very well line them all up, but just for some reason it wasn't wanting to do it. It wasn't wanting to work out for me earlier, so I just decided, okay, screw you, I'm going to drag the faces down manually then, and thankfully it doesn't affect my curvature here. So now we got all that lined up again. Perfect. Now we can hide these, we can keep them there at this point, entirely up to you. I'm going to go ahead and hide them. And now we're just going to want these 3 thin faces that we put on the back end there. And we're going to hit E to extrude, bring them down on the Z, and we'll just go ahead and line those up here with the, flush it up with the red line. Nice, looking good. It's a little unfortunate we got all those extra faces there, but it's alright. Just be mindful of that as we move forward here. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit Control R to add in a loop cut, and I'm going to hold Control as I slide it down, and I'm going to slide it down to 0.9 on all 3 of these. 0.9, 0.9, and 0.9. Then in face select, so this is where we got to be kind of conscious of those extra faces we have there. We're going to select all of the faces. So it's on mine, I got these 3 faces here on that inside section there, right? And we're going to come over here and we're going to grab the 1 face on this one. Okay, cool. That's nice. I only have 1 there. And then front orthographic will extrude over, and we'll just take it about like that far. with all of these faces still selected, we'll then select these faces here, and this face here, and we'll hit X and delete those faces. Perfect. So there we go. All right, so as we fill this in, or as we stitch this in, it looks like, let's see what we can do here about this, because we have this bottom edge that doesn't need to be here. So we can actually, you know what, actually, let me take a look at this here. We can actually, we should have done this maybe before. We can go ahead and just dissolve a lot of these additional edges that we have here. We don't need all that. Like, we really don't. I'm not gonna worry about it, especially because it's not consistent all the way across. So with these selected, right, I'm only gonna keep the corner edges there. I'll just hit X and dissolve those edges. And then we can do these back ones right here too. Don't Alt left click, because then you'll grab like all of the edges up there. We don't want to dissolve those. Just holding shift and selecting these edges here. X, dissolve edge. Perfect, just like that. A nice clean slab here. Oh, what happened here? Let me scroll up a bit here. Oh, it's on this face here. Okay, I was like, what the heck? I shouldn't have any doubles. I guess I'll want to do like another merge by distance just to be sure at some point. But for now, just grab this, dissolve edge. Okay. And you can go through and just like grab all of the edges. Like I'll start to do that now. Just like grab everything and then do one final dissolve. Whatever you're comfortable with. Whoops. My apologies. We don't want this one. We're gonna leave that edge. We want that that separation there, and we'll keep that one as well. We'll just get rid of these two though. Just checking the bottom here again. Okay, whoops, looks like I missed two right here. Dissolve those. Just giving it another once over. Can even go wireframe, get a quick view here. Okay, looks good. Looks real good. Okay, yeah, we'll just work with this. I think that's fair. So with vertices select, I know you've probably had enough of it by now. Oh, what is this? Okay, if you see that, make sure we get rid of that. Hopefully this is the only spot where it exists. I don't know why these are here. I have some extra vertices here, so I'm just going to delete those. And then I'll fill in this face, grabbing these 4 vertices and hitting F to fill. Anywhere else that you might have extra vertices, we'll want to just keep an eye out for that. I don't know why those were even there. Okay. See, I guess I'm going to have to do another... let's even do it now. Let's just grab everything, M, and merge by distance. Ah, removed 2 vertices. That... Okay, that actually makes perfect sense because there was 2 vertices that were carried down here, these extras that came from up here somewhere. Don't know how those were missed, but they're gone now, so always good to do merge by distance. Just every now and again, throw one of those in there. So now, as I was saying, probably had enough of it at this point, I'm sure, but we're just going to merge a few more vertices. Bringing this like edge over into this edge, right? Don't merge this way because then you'll just have like this square face here that, or well, you won't. It'll actually it'll just do like this number, and you don't want that. So whoops. Okay. Go into solid view here. Gotta check, zoom in and just make sure my normals are looking good. Okay, they're all facing the right way. Okay, good. Good. Alright. Then we're going to do a loop cut going horizontally across the bottom right here, and I'm going to bring it up like 0.3. Something just like that. Okay, before we go any further from that, we'll tab into object mode, and we're going to hit Control A and apply the scale, because this next part, if we don't apply the scale here, I've noticed that when we go to bevel this bottom edge after we extrude these faces, it just doesn't bevel properly. So if for some reason yours is like not beveling as it should, definitely check and make sure you've applied scale. And also if it's not beveling properly or whatever, it could also be your normals, so you'll want to check that. So we're just going to grab this row of bottom faces, the lower row here. We'll hit E to extrude and just drag it out and like kind of flush it up with that red line, I guess. Like right about there is good. And then 2 for edge select, and we'll alt left click this top edge here and then Control B, and we're going to bevel. We're just going to bring it in something like that. Let's see, like a 0.08. I'm going to dial mine into like a precise number. This part doesn't need to be. This is totally up to you. We're pretty much done with like the precise amounts. You didn't have to like move that edge loop up to the exactly 0.3 or, you know, bevel this to a width of 0.08. You can if you'd like. The precise increments are out the window now. This is just what I like. I like the look of this right here. So with that done, however, now we get on to another exciting point. And I'm not gonna lie to you, this is actually gonna suck too. So it's not that bad though. This is gonna get to be pretty fun, I think. So now we're going to go along and mark our seams, right? So before we do that though, we can go ahead and return these edge loops here. Control R and then holding Control and just kind of sliding them towards the bottom. Right, if you removed the edge loops. If you didn't remove the edge loops, then you can skip this part, but I removed them, so I'm gonna return them to where they were, roughly something like that. I'll check my shading later again and adjust accordingly, but for now it was something like that. Okay, so with that done, whoops, an edge select, we're gonna grab alt left click this edge here. And then we're going to want to go around, and we can hold Shift and Alt and just click around here. All the way around this baby here. Just like this. Just like that. Ooh. Huh. Just notice that kind of like weird edge right there. That should be fine though. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. That should be okay. All right. I'm almost thinking maybe like we won't even really need to do that, but I'm gonna do this. Like how we don't have to like completely go around that edge. I'm going to though. Oh wait, what am I saying? Yeah, we want this one. Whoops. Oh, we don't want that though. Get out of here. Just hold Shift and select that. Don't Alt Shift that one. I'm so sorry. We do want this edge because we want to separate. What I'm going for is I'm gonna basically separate these lengthy, like these tall boards here. I'm just gonna like mark seams to separate them into their own individual pieces. At least from the top part and from these little sideboards right here. I think if I remember correctly, it'll still be a whole solid piece with the beveled region down here all the way along, but I'll just have to see how this looks. But that's how I'm going to start out. I'm going to start by just kind of marking out these bottoms, holding Shift, grabbing that, Shift and Alt and selecting there, and then we can Shift Alt all the way around here. Just like that. Okay. Looks pretty good. Alright, and now for this one, I'm actually going to start by only taking these outside edges here. The two outside edges of the, like, outside face, right? Let's make sure it went all the way along. It looks good. Looks like it took this edge. We don't need that. We can hold shift and just deselect the front outside edge of this plank, because when we held alt and shift it selected that as well. We can just deselect that front one. We'll keep that back one selected, and in fact we'll actually add we'll take both of the two back edges of this, and we're gonna do the same thing for this one, but first we'll just go ahead and come in here like this, hold shift and alt and left click there and there, and then we'll just hold shift and deselect that. Hold shift and alt and select there and there. Hold shift and deselect that one. And it looks like, yeah, we need to do the same for there and there. And we can go ahead and at that point we can mark seam, and then we'll just pick up from there, right? So we're not getting too overwhelmed with way too many selections or anything. Just go ahead and do that now. And then we're gonna come up here and we'll hold shift and alt and select these two outside edges here, as well as these two outside edges right here and here. And we can just kind of scan along, making sure that it's selected, all of that. Yep, looks good. Okay. Alright, we can go ahead and mark that seam. So that should be, we'll see what it looks like. We may end up going ahead and taking this outside edge right here along these like these large faces here along the main curve part, you know, whatever you want to call it. We might take those. We'll just see what it looks like. We'll see if it wants to, you know, if it likes being a solid piece so that it's a nice seamless texture throughout this whole curve here, all the way, like, you know, width-wise, I guess. So we can go wireframe to make sure that we got these edges here selected right. Okay. So yeah, from now on, we can just focus here on the bottom. Oh, it looks like this edge I missed at some point. So we can select that edge, and then we'll go over here to the other side, and we'll select that one, and we're going to Control E and clear seam. We don't want to mark that one. Okay, so we're gonna hold shift, or well, for now we can hold alt and left click there, then we'll hold shift and alt, select there, there, there. So we just want this whole, like, the whole square bottom edge, right, all the way around. We want this bottom edge here, and we do want this edge on both sides. The side edge here of the bevel, we want that. But we're not going to take this edge here or this edge, I don't think. I'll have to look as we go along here. I'll have to refresh my memory. But we are going to take, we're going to hold shift and alt, and we'll select this top edge of the bevel there. And then we're going to shift and click this edge and this edge, as well as the two edges down the back side right there. So this is where we're going to separate like this sideboard here from the tall plank bits. Select there and there. Do that on both sides here, and we don't need to go all the way down the bevel because it's meeting this long edge that we're marking there. So just that is fine along the front end. Come over here, take that, all of that. Okay. Now let me think. I think that's good. Just double check, make sure I've got everything I want. Yeah, I think so. Unless I'm forgetting one. I don't know. We'll hit Control E and mark seam. Perfect. Okay, so now we can come over to our little Poliigon Material Converter in our Materials tab here. We'll hit that folder, and we're going to find the, well, I already have it loaded up right there, I guess. Find the Stone Marble Calacatta 004 texture. And and we're going to go ahead and apply that. I think I already even have it in here. Yep, just like that. Okay, we can go to Material Preview to get a look, and we can switch over to the UV editing if we'd like, and we'll hit U, then unwrap. And not bad. That's not a terrible unwrap. I mean, it's not great, but that's not terrible either. Especially when I'm looking at it on my end anyways. That looks pretty darn good. I'm not mad at it. Let me go and lay out here so you can get a better look. It actually looks pretty good. I mean, we can, on the UV map, we can do some scaling to kind of bring out a little bit better detail here on the bottom end. But as far as the selection goes, what's going on here? Huh. Oh, is that just how it is? Or is, oh, okay, I'll have to check in the UV, because it looks like these tried to be seamless, but the scaling looks like it's off on some of these parts. Let me actually grab everything again and do U to unwrap. Okay, it's not giving me the non-uniform scale bit, so yeah, it's probably just, let me come over to UV editing. And, okay, I've got that selected. Let me select these faces here and see just what's going on. Okay, yeah, so we'll want to do, like we did in part 1, we'll want to do a little bit of correcting for this. Let's see. I believe this is going to be included as well, right there. As well as this face. And this face probably even. We don't have to take the back face here with it, because that's separated by these two edges there. So yeah, that's all good and well. Okay. So with that selected, we can bring that up on the Z. Or, excuse me, not on the Z. There is no Z in the UV. Bring it up on the Y. And so this is going to be interesting. Let's see here. We've got these vertices here. So I'm actually going to turn that off. This little option up here, the sync option. And with just vertices select on, I'm going to grab these vertices up here, scale on the Y 0. Follow it down here, grab these two, scale on the Y 0. So it's got like those extra vertices there because of like where, you know, because of the bottom of the top of the arc here, you know, or the bottom of the top arc, however you say that. It's got all those like extra verts, then, you know, like, so this square face we created that we extruded down from is not a perfect quad. So that's why it's going to have all these extra verts here. So I'm going to scale on the X 0. This scale on the X 0. I'm curious to see if this is even actually gonna work with how wonky this is. It might not even. Face must be a quad. Yeah, I thought so. So that is going to complicate things, but that's okay. I'm sure we can find a quad face in here somewhere. How about this one? This is a quad. Let's see if it works with that. Scale on the Y 0. Oh yeah, this is gonna be. So we're gonna have to, in order to really dial in our UVs, if we really wanna, what the hell happened here? Oh yeah, scale X 0. If we really wanna get the most out of it, we're gonna have to retopologize more. Oh no. Follow active quads. Yeah, it doesn't like that at all. Okay. Well, that's okay. That's gonna have to be its own thing. That'll definitely have to be its own thing for sure. I mean, we could so what we could do is we could separate this, because it looks great for the curved bit. Like all of the UVs for that like work out really nicely for what they are, you know. I mean, it's a fucking mess is what it is, but you know, it works out nice for, you know, what it is. Like the texture applies really nicely across it. We can shade smooth on there again to kind of get a good look at it. Like obviously we can do some scaling to really kind of, you know, bring out a little bit more detail in this marble bit here, you know. But yeah, so I would say, I'm gonna shade that flat again for a moment. I would say what we could do is we can separate this bottom piece so that these like this thing will have like quads, and it's not getting screwed up when it itself is pretty square and simple, but yet the, you know, just because it's sharing verts with the rest of this gargantuan curvy mess up here, you know, it's getting kind of it's getting the raw dog deal. Let's go wireframe, and we're just gonna go ahead and with face select, we'll box select from here down, just like that. Hit P, separate by selection. I'm gonna go back over to layout and tab, oops, edit mode or object mode. Make sure, well, here, let's go ahead and hide that bit. I'm gonna grab this and let's go ahead and what do we got here? So we've got all these extra vertices in here, right? What happens if we delete the, or actually what if we dissolve? Okay, yeah, so that's what we'll do. We'll just go along and go wireframe if that helps. Whatever helps you see these vertices better. I'll probably still miss one. Yeah, that's fine. I think there's an option. I've never bothered, but there should be an option to like increase the size of these darn little vertices. I've just never bothered. I've always taken it as just part of like the challenge of Blender. I'm like, oh yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, and then we will dissolve vertices. Okay. Go solid here, just get a better look. And dissolve vertices, perfect. Whoops. Okay, we'll go material preview. Then we'll select everything. We can hit U, unwrap, and already it looks way better. Let's go over to UV editing and check that out. Let's just see here. We got everything's pretty squared, except we got this going on. Well, let's get a look at this. I'm gonna turn this on. Select this face. Which face is that? It's that front face there. Why is that one? All the other ones are good. Why is this one wonky? I mean, we can fix it. I'm just curious. What's your deal? Huh? What is your story? Oh well, you know, like, oh well. I don't think it matters. We're just gonna select this here, and then we'll hit L and right click and follow active quads. And we're gonna have to do it again, I think, because that wasn't the face I selected wasn't totally squared up. So let's just get in here, grab these, scale on the Y 0, scale on the Y 0, or maybe it was, and it's just like this is just how it works. Whoops. Scale on the X 0. What the heck? Scale X 0. Enter. Scale X 0. Okay. Now we should be good. Follow active quads, and there we go. Nice and squared up. me get a good look here. Whoops. Oh, right. Let me turn that on and select all this. Okay, so yeah, that is this face here. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna turn that off. Select everything, and we can do, you know, some more of that stuff here. We got this here that can be kind of fixed up, though we might actually want to go ahead and separate this now that I think about it. Yeah, because we're not going to be able to square up this face still if it's got this thing going on here, right? So we're going to want to separate it with this edge here on either side, and that should be enough. Hopefully we don't have to do more than that. Should be good if it's like this edge and that edge there. Hit Control E, we'll mark seam, and I mean it's on the side and it's a small area, so there being a seam right there, and you know, like this texture should kind of also help mask it a little bit. So let's see here, rather than having to UV unwrap the whole thing and then square up that one face again, let's just grab these two sides right here and then we'll unwrap that. That's a bit much, but we'll just grab those and scale them down to something like what they were, I guess, you know? Or I mean, I guess we can leave them like that big, right? I think it'll look pretty good for the texture. Yeah. For now, anyway. We'll just bring these off over here. Somewhere over here. Let's bring them over there. We'll worry about those later. I'm not too worried about them at all, really. If I'm totally honest. Alright, okay, and then what was the other pieces were... We'll hit wireframe. It's these guys right here. We'll just box select right there. And we can hit U and unwrap those. Let's go material preview here. And perfect. Now they're all squared up. We don't even have to do no follow active quads or anything like that. They're looking pretty good. I mean, I guess we should oh well, huh. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't have just box select that and UV unwrapped it. I should have box selected where I did and then come back in here and then grab these faces as well with that selection. So I'm going to go ahead and do that one more time. I'm going to grab these faces because it's all, these are connected to it. And then, well, yeah, we'll grab these faces here. So that, and then we can shift or hold Z and then go into wireframe. Gosh, I can't think. And then we'll unwrap that. Oh, did I? Oh, whoops. I'm not paying attention. Yeah, hold shift and box select. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. I knew I was onto something. Okay, and then we'll just take a look at this here. What do we got here? Let's turn that on. Where is this face? It's this one over here. It's this little one here, huh? Okay, so we can do like a little bit of follow active quads to clean these UVs up. I guess I could separate that, but I just feel like, I guess it is kind of unnecessary that it's, I don't know, I just feel bad for it. I don't want to separate it. I feel bad. What's this one? The same one on the other side? Well, why the hell is this one separated off like that? Huh. This one's like the other one's like, you know, like connected to like this bit over here. This one's just floating about all by its lonesome. Is that because... Let me get a good look here. Oh yeah, I don't think I did. Which doesn't make sense though, because I'm pretty sure I selected all of that anyway. So let me just make sure that's all selected. Gotta love this damn UV work, man. Okay, wireframe, holding shift, box select, all that. And then I'm gonna go back into solid and just give it one more once over. See, I was gonna miss that face. I'm just getting so lost, dude. I'm totally out of it. Okay, there we go. UV and unwrap that. There we go. And of course, yeah. See, now it's we got that little connection there, but we could still do some follow active quads. You know, really dial it all in. But that looks pretty damn good. So go back to layout. Hit Alt H to unhide everything. And go ahead and hide. You know what, dude? We can even delete that, and we'll hit Shift C to return that to its origin, and just get a good look here. You know, we can grab this and we could shade it smooth. We could join it with this this deal down here. Whatever you want. You could even well, actually, we probably should join it though. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and join it, but first what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to UV, and I'm gonna move all of these UVs off over here, just off to the side, so when I join it up, the UVs for this bottom portion aren't gonna overlap with the UVs for this top curve, so I don't have to go and fish all of the UVs for the bottom portion out and move them aside. I'll just move them off over here, so that way I can end up going back and just kind of like cleaning this up and organizing, making sure they're not like overlapping, just get it laid out nice and neat, and then I can do the same thing for the top curve. So yeah, I'm just gonna do that first. Tab back into object mode, and I can do this in any order. You can take this bottom piece and the top piece, then the bottom piece, whatever. I'm going to take the bottom piece, then the top piece, and hit Control J to join. So there we go. Done deal. Done deal. Nice. Alright. Let's see here. So now what we'll do, and this part can go like pretty weird too, but we'll just have to make it work. So we're going to hit Shift A, and we're going to bring in a plane. We're going to rotate that sucker 90 degrees on the X-axis. We're just going to bring it up and kind of scale it out quite a bit here. Get wild. You could like really scale it out if you want, just to be sure that we've got enough surface here. And then we're just gonna hit G, then Y, and slide it back until we kind of see, like, you know, it's over, like it's like halfway inside of this this little side edge that we've got here, right? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and shade that smooth again. But yeah, something like that. We'll probably have to make some adjustments, but this is how we're going to start. So we're going to grab the plane and go to the modifiers tab, and we'll add a boolean, whatever. Keep that sucker on difference, and we're going to select our frame here. And let's see how this worked out. All right. Okay, so it looks like that's gonna work out. So I'm seeing some highlighted selections here for this, so I think that's gonna work right there. So we'll go ahead and apply that. We'll go solid mode, and we're just gonna delete this out here. Just get rid of that, delete those faces. And then we can grab these three faces here, and we'll hit P, separate by selection, because there are more faces. They're just hiding behind the frame here. So we'll hide that, and then we'll grab our frame and we'll hide that. Select this, and this is the rest of that plane. So we can honestly just delete that. We don't even have to go into edit mode. We can just delete that, and Alt H to unhide. And go ahead and I'm gonna hide those again. Alright, so now we got this, and we can do this. We'll go ahead and do this right now. I'm gonna hide that plane, and I'm gonna Shift A and add in another plane. Again, this is something we could have just like duplicated that first plane once we got it into position and scaled it out. You could have just like duplicated it before adding the boolean or whatever, but it's not a big deal to just make another and slap it in here. Just like that. Hopefully we'll add that Boolean modifier to it and select our frame here, and then we'll just look at it in wireframe, and yeah, looks good. Looks like we have the cutouts we want here. And so what we're going to do this time is we are going to apply, go into solid, and this time we'll hit edit, go into edit mode, and we're going to select these faces here and delete those faces. So now we got just that. And then I'm going to do a little bit of editing here. I'm going to grab this bottom edge and move it up on the Z. Just kind of like flush it up, I guess. Here we could even, yeah, with just all that selected. Scale Z 0. Oh, well, that's not what I was hoping it was going to do. Oh, that's why. Okay, right here. Scale Z, yeah, Z 0. There we go. Let's go solid. That's what I wanted. This doesn't have to be perfect. This is just to like help us visualize the light as it'll come through the window here. We just want this wall to kind of block off any light and only let it pass through the window, because we're going to put up a pretty big light. So now we're going to grab this side edge here, grab it out on the X, move it out however far you feel is necessary. I'm going to do that, grab this top edge, bring it up on the Z. I'm going to move that out a little bit more just so it's even, so otherwise it's going to bug me. And then you can either create another plane and, you know, rotate it on the, or not rotate it on the X, but then just like bring it out here and scale it out, or just do what I'm about to do, I guess, if it'll work. Will it work? Can I just do this? Oh, you don't like that. Oh, you don't like that, huh? Okay, fine. I don't feel like digging around for the, you know, the edges in here that are that have like overlapped now. So I'm gonna go with the former. I'm going to go into object mode and Shift A, add a plane. I'm not gonna freaking fish around for those edges for like just something that's like nothing. Just a damn plane, dude. I just want a surface for the light to interact with. That's it. Nothing special. Wait, what am I doing? Scale this out on the Y. However far you feel. I'm gonna go pretty far here. Bring it out on the Y. They can overlap a little bit. Doesn't matter. Something like this is good. Alright. Now we can Alt H to unhide. I'm going to drag these even further out of my way. Getting tired of having to rehide them every time, but I'm a blender hoarder, man. I just can't let go of them. You never know, you know. All right. So I'm gonna tab into edit mode again with our with what it will be our windows here, and I'm going to select this face and I'm going to separate it. You don't have to. I'm going to separate it, and I'm gonna have like two different. I mean, they're gonna be the same thing. They're just gonna use two different images for these two bottom ones. Like these two bottom ones are gonna use one image, and then the top one's gonna use a different image. You don't have to do it that way. That's how I'm gonna do it though. Other than that, though, the material that they're going to use is going to be exactly the same. All right, we're going to go into the shading tab here. Look at that. It already knows what image I want to use. That's amazing. All right, and we will, for the, make sure if you have them separated like I did, if you have the two planes separated, make sure you have one or the other selected. I guess it really doesn't matter. Let me see, is this the same one from when I did a... It is. So I guess before I do that, I'm going to go up to File and Clean Up. This is the same file I used when I was like doing a bunch of test runs to kind of find the smoothest path to the end like desired result. Let me get rid of unused data blocks. Yeah, get rid of that. Damn, deleted 50 data blocks. Thank you. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we will add a new material right here. I'm going to name this one glass lower. And we can, well, I guess we'll just work on this one and then we'll duplicate it over to the other one. So I'm going to get rid of this. I will provide a link in the description to another gentleman's video where he will he'll go way into depth on creating this material. I'm just gonna keep it simple because you know, we've already done so much. This is mainly about the like model of the frame itself, kind of like the joint of the model and the glass together is what is the combined beauty there. But in that gentleman's video, he'll show you how to get like the most beauty out of the glass itself. It's insane. I cannot recommend it enough. It's absolutely awesome. So we're gonna delete that principled BSDF there, and I'm just gonna add in a few nodes here, and then we'll start like stringing them together. We're gonna start by adding in an image texture right here, and then we're gonna add in a Voronoi texture, and then with the Voronoi texture selected, we'll hit Shift D to duplicate, move that down here, and then we're gonna come over here and Shift A, and we're gonna add in from input. We're going to add in a value node right here. Then we're going to Shift D, duplicate that, and then again, we'll duplicate that. Okay, so we've got our image texture here. And then down here, we're going to, Shift A. We're going to add in from, where is it? Converter. We're going to add in a color ramp right here. Then we're going to add in from color, a mix RGB somewhere in this region. Hopefully I remember. And we're going to switch that from mix to multiply. And then I believe we'll just move this over a little bit. And then the last thing is we're going to add shader glass. Okay, these are all the nodes we need. And now, then this is like the way I added them in. This is going to be like the layout. And now we're just going to start stringing them all together. We can do it in reverse if you'd like, so you know, we can start from this end, plugging them in backwards so you can actually see things if you would like. So we'll go ahead and slot our glass into the surface of our material output. We can even come over here to material preview if you'd like. Let's see if I can I switch this? I like different stuff. Let's go with this one. Do I like this one? The studio one? I don't know if I like this one. I don't know. Go with whatever you like. Ooh, yeah. Maybe this one looks good. Yeah. Nice, like, sunset. Yeah. We'll go with that. Okay. Maybe material view is not even the best for this anyway. But now what we're going to do is slot from our multiply mix RGB node here. We'll slot the color into the color of the glass. Now we're going to take the color of our image texture, slot that into color 1 of the multiply node, then take the color of our color ramp and slot that into color 2 of the multiply node here. And then we can, before we start slotting in other stuff, we can go ahead and open up whatever image that you so chose to use for this. I have a couple already that I am using. Let's see here if I can remember where the heck I put them. Where did I put them? There we go. Getting a little something in there. Nice little tree. Alright. And then we're going to take this top Voronoi texture. We're going to take the position socket right here and slot that into the vector here of the image texture. And we're going to take this one here, this bottom one right here on where it says F1. We're going to click that and we're going to switch it to distance to edge. And then we're going to take this distance socket and slap it into the color ramp node. And now we're going to start connecting these little input value, and this is going to be a little weird. You can do this in any way that you want, but we're going to basically take this top one. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this top one and I'm going to slot the top one into the scale socket of the first Voronoi texture, and then I'm going to slot it into the scale of the second one. Because basically these two, the values of them have to be like the same. So I'm going to slot, you know, randomness, this one to the randomness of both, and then I'm going to switch both of these to 4D, and that's going to give us this new socket down here, and I'm going to slot this other one into that socket. And then I'll explain these values as we go. But first, I guess we'll go ahead and adjust this one here. So the scale, I'm going to crank that up to like 40. And that's pretty much, I guess, like what you would imagine it is. Right now, obviously, they're just like, it's just pixels. But I guess like the scale would be, in a sense, like that's what it would kind of be. Is like you can think of that as like the resolution, right? Like the pixel size here. And so I'm gonna start with like 40. And then this second one for the randomness, you can go below 0, but it doesn't register anything below 0. It only registers a value between 0 and 1. And so, you know, you can, you know, you'll see some changes between 0 and 1, but once you hit 1 and go beyond that, you're not going to see anything. So I'm going to set this, though, to 1. Because basically from a difference of 0 is where we get like that, just that square pixel kind of look. 1 is where we kind of get like that nice, like, random, like, edges there, you know? Some actual noise going on in this. And then this last one that is slotted into that W socket there, this is just kind of like the seed. So you'll just like click, you can just click through this and it will, gosh, if I could stop zooming out through the plane, that'd be great. Okay, right here. It's hard to see in this lighting. I picked the worst one. So yeah, it just kind of like mixes up like the pattern, but like still overall, like, you know, it's using the same image, but it's just kind of like, you know, randomizes like the color pattern of like where's, like what's where, essentially, I guess. I don't really know how to explain that all too well, but it's pretty self-explanatory. You can kind of see what it's doing here. As I crank this up, like I'll go to like 80, so you can kind of like see a little bit more of the tree here. And I can even go into, oh no, I don't have lights set up, so I'll just stay like this. But yeah, like as you can see, it's just kind of, you know, like the image itself really isn't changing, but it's just kind of like a different pattern on like the like pixels, right? So you can just mess around with that. However, if you want to switch between, you'll see more like a more drastic difference the lower your scale value is. And so from that, what we're going to do next is come over here to this multiply. You can like zoom in here to actually see what this is going to do. And well, first, actually, I guess we'll go ahead and move this this end here, the little white color, whoops, on our color ramp, and we'll slide that all the way down. Meet that towards the black. And so you can already see what that's doing. It's just kind of like broadening up the like those divisions, right? And even like sharpening it up, the divisions between like the different plates there. And then if we take this and we just crank that to 1, it'll really put a bold, you know, like a bold face on it. So that looks pretty nice. And that is pretty much it. That's, I mean, that is it. Like, that's it. We'll go ahead and we can do the same thing for the top one here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull out this drop down menu. It's like it already knew. Why does it have all these if I removed it? Nobody was using it. So I got glass lower. What the heck? I removed those. Whatever, dude. Okay, I'm gonna slot that in there though. And then I'll just hit this to make a duplicated user of it. Like a duplicated independent user, so I can come in here and I can change the image texture that it's using, and I'm going to switch it to this one here. Again, kind of hard to see in this lighting, but that's why what we're going to do now, we just use the material preview temporarily. We're going to go ahead and hit Shift A, and we'll bring in an area light. We'll rotate it 90 degrees on the X. I'm going to bring it back a little bit on the Y, something like this. You can go Control 1 on the number pad for this back view here. And you can either just like, you know, with the light selected, scale it, or you can come over here to this light tab. And you can crank up the size. I think I'm going to go with something like 12, probably even greater than that, like maybe like 14. I'm going to bring it up on the Z, just so it's like that, nice and flush with the bottom there. And then I will even, I'm going to like duplicate that light, move it inside here, something like this. I'm going to rotate it all the way around 180 degrees on the Z. I might decrease the size, I'm not sure yet. Just going to play around with this. So this one I'm going to keep as it is, and I'm going to crank the brightness to like, or the power to like 3000. Keep the color as it is. And for this one, I'm going to maybe crank the power to like 50. I'm gonna give it like a nice like bluish light. And then we can go to rendered. You're gonna want to be in cycles for this to really kind of appreciate what's going on here. But that is it. Let me go over to layout mode though, and then go rendered. So really get a look at this. I mean, at this point, you know, render up yours and get a look at that, right? Again, we can adjust the scale on these textures or the images here, especially this small one. Probably don't want it at like as quite as high of a texture as the other one. So we can come over here to the scale value, and we can reduce that to like, I don't know, let's just play around with it. Let's try 60. Still a bit much, maybe. We'll drop to like 40. Maybe like 25. I don't know, just playing around with values here. That looks pretty good. Even this one, like, I didn't even really mean to keep it up that high, so we'll like bring it down to like 40 again. I think that looks pretty good. Something like that. Or if you like, I mean, part of me, I'm like torn. You know, sometimes I like the bigger like pieces, and then other times I don't. Sometimes I actually really like having it like really, like the image really defined, you know? Whoops, which light did I grab? I grabbed the wrong light. I'm gonna grab this one because I'm noticing this down here, this like dark bar there, and I'm just gonna bring that down so it really captures that in there. But there it is. We'll let the rendering here catch up. Alright, well that's definitely going to be a wrap on this one. I really hope you were able to follow along up to this point, that you got something, you know, that you're satisfied with and that looks good, you know. Again, give yourself a huge pat on the back and a heavy sigh of relief, because it's over. It's over, and like I said again, hopefully you got something that you really like, right? But anyway, that's going to be enough out of me, so thank you very much.